Bangladesh may not ring a bell for many people around the world. You may have met some Bangladeshis, but you may not know much about their country, their culture, or their history. Bangladesh is a fascinating and inspiring country, with a rich and diverse heritage, a long and turbulent history, and a bright and hopeful future. It has faced many challenges and struggles, but it has also overcome them with resilience and courage. The Bengali people have made significant contributions to the world, and it has also received recognition and respect from across the globe. Let's explore the history of the Bengali people, who have lived in this land for thousands of years, shaping its culture, society, and identity, to become what it is today. Let's start with the ancient times, when the first human settlements emerged in this region. More than 20,000 years ago, in the Paleolithic era, the people of this region were hunters, gatherers, and artists. They left behind stone tools, pottery, and cave paintings in various sites, such as Mahasthangar, Bogra, and Karna Rajar cave. Around the 3rd millennium BCE, a great civilization flourished in the western part of South Asia, the Indus Valley Civilization. It was one of the oldest and most advanced civilizations in the world, with urban planning, writing, trade, and agriculture. It also had contacts with other cultures, such as Mesopotamia and Egypt. However, it declined around the 2nd millennium BCE, possibly due to environmental changes, invasions, or internal conflicts. Another culture emerged in the northern part of South Asia around the same time, the Vedic culture. The Vedic people were Indo-Aryan speakers who composed the Vedas, the oldest scriptures of Hinduism. They also practiced rituals, sacrifices, and social divisions, such as the caste system. They gradually spread to other parts of South Asia, including Bengal, through migration, assimilation, and conquest. In the 6th century BCE, several powerful kingdoms rose in the region of Bengal, such as Anga, Vanga, Pundra, and Suma. They are mentioned in ancient texts, such as the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, and the Puranas. They often fought and allied with each other, as well as with other neighboring states, such as Magadha, Kalinga, and Kosala. In the 4th century BCE, most of South Asia was unified under a single rule by the Mauryan Empire, founded by Chandragupta Maurya. It was one of the largest and most influential empires in history, with a highly centralized administration, a large army, and a prosperous economy. The most famous Mauryan ruler was Ashoka, who ruled from 268 to 232 BCE. He converted to Buddhism, promoted peace and tolerance, and inscribed edicts in various parts of South Asia, including Bangladesh. After the Mauryan Empire declined, the region of Bengal came under the control of various dynasties, such as the Shunga, the Kushan, the Satavahana, and the Harakala, which ruled over different parts of the region. The most notable among these dynasties was the Gupta Empire, which ruled over most of northern and central India from the 4th to the 6th century CE. It is considered the golden age of Indian history, as it witnessed the peak of art, literature, science, and mathematics. It also patronized Buddhism and Hinduism, and built many temples and monasteries, such as the Somapura Mahavihara, which is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site in Bangladesh. The Gupta Empire was followed by the Pala Empire, which ruled over Bengal and Bihar from the 8th to the 12th century CE. The Palas were devout Buddhists, and established many centers of learning, such as the Nalanda and Vikramasila universities, which attracted scholars from all over Asia. They also developed a distinctive style of art, known as the Pala Sainar School of Art, which influenced the art of Tibet, Nepal, and Southeast Asia. The Pala Empire was succeeded by the Sainar Empire, which ruled over Bengal from the 11th to the 13th century CE. The Sainars were staunch Hindus, and revived the Brahmanical culture and the caste system. They also promoted Sanskrit literature and poetry, and built many temples and sculptures, such as the Dakeshwari Temple, which is now the National Temple of Bangladesh. In the 13th century CE, Bengal was invaded by the Muslim Turks and Afghans, who established the Delhi Sultanate, a series of dynasties that ruled over most of India until the 16th century CE. They introduced Islam, Persian culture, and the Urdu language to Bengal, and also built many mosques, tombs, and forts, such as the Adina Mosque, the Khan Jahan Ali's tomb, and the Lalbar Fort. They also faced resistance and rebellion from the local Hindu rulers, such as the Deva dynasty and the Kaurani dynasty, who tried to restore their independence. In the 16th century CE, Bengal became an independent kingdom under the rule of the Husayn Shahi dynasty, which reached its zenith under Sultan Alauddin Hussein Shah, who patronized Bengali literature, art, and music, and expanded his territory to include Orissa and Assam. However, his successor, Nasiruddin Nasrat Shah, was defeated by the Mughal Emperor Humayun in 1538 CE, and Bengal became a province of the Mughal Empire, which ruled over most of India from the 16th to the 18th century CE. The Mughal Empire was one of the most powerful and prosperous empires in the world, and had a sophisticated administration, a diverse culture, and a flourishing trade. It also built many architectural marvels, such as the Taj Mahal, the Red Fort, and the Shalimar Gardens. The Mughal governors of Bengal, such as Shaista Khan, Murshid Quli Khan, and Alivardi Khan, also contributed to the development and prosperity of the region, and built many monuments, such as the Chotu Katra, the Katra Masjid, and the Ahsan Manzil. In the 18th century CE, the Mughal Empire declined due to internal and external factors, such as corruption, factionalism, invasions, and rebellions. Bengal became independent again under the rule of Siraj-ud-Daulah, the last Nawab of Bengal, who tried to resist the growing influence and interference of the British East India Company, which had established trading posts and factories in India since the 17th century CE. However, Siraj-ud-Daulah was betrayed by his own general, Mir Jafar, who conspired with the British to overthrow him. In 1757 CE, Siraj-ud-Daulah was defeated and killed by the British forces led by Robert Clive in the Battle of Plassey, which marked the beginning of the British colonial rule in India. The British East India Company gradually expanded its control over Bengal and other parts of India from the 18th to the 19th century, exploiting the resources and the people of the region. The company faced resistance from various local rulers and movements, such as the Fakir Sannyasi Rebellion, the Sepoy Mutiny, and the Indigo Revolt. In 1858, after the suppression of the Sepoy Mutiny, the British Crown took over the administration of India from the company, and established the British Raj, or the British Indian Empire. Bengal became a province of the Raj, and was subjected to colonial policies that favoured the British interests over the Indian interests. The British Raj also imposed a divide and rule policy that created communal divisions among the Hindus and the Muslims of Bengal. The Bengal Renaissance, a cultural and intellectual movement, emerged in the 19th and early 20th centuries, producing many prominent figures in literature, art, science, and politics, such as Rabindranath Tagore, Qazi Nazrul Islam, Jagadish Chandra Bose, and Khwaja Salimullah. The Bengal Renaissance also inspired the growth of nationalism and anti-colonialism among the Bengalis, who participated in various movements and campaigns for independence, such as the Swadeshi movement, the Non-Cooperation movement, the Quit India movement, and the Bengal Provincial Muslim League. The British Raj faced several challenges and crises during the World Wars, such as the Bengal famine of 1943, which killed millions of people due to starvation and malnutrition. In 1947, when the British Raj ended, India was partitioned into two independent states, India and Pakistan. Pakistan was composed of two wings, West Pakistan and East Pakistan, separated by more than 1,000 miles of Indian territory. East Pakistan, formerly East Bengal, had a majority of Bengali-speaking Muslims, while West Pakistan had a majority of Urdu-speaking Muslims. The two wings of Pakistan had many cultural, economic, and political differences, which led to conflicts and tensions between them. One of the major issues was the language policy of Pakistan, which declared Urdu as the only national language, ignoring the fact that Bengali was spoken by more than half of the population. The Bengalis of East Pakistan protested against this policy, and demanded the recognition of Bengali as a national language. The language movement, or Bhasha Andolan, was a series of demonstrations and strikes that took place from 1948 to 1956, culminating in the killing of several students by the Pakistani police on February 21, 1952, which is now commemorated as the International Mother Language Day. The language movement was the first sign of the growing dissatisfaction and resentment of the East Pakistanis towards the West Pakistani domination. The political and economic disparity between the two wings of Pakistan increased in the 1960s and 1970s, as the West Pakistani elite exploited the resources and the labor of the East Pakistanis, and denied them their fair share of representation and autonomy. The East Pakistanis, led by the Awami League, a secular and nationalist party, demanded more rights and reforms from the central government, but were met with repression and violence. In 1970, the first general election of Pakistan was held, in which the Awami League, headed by Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, won a landslide victory, securing a majority of the seats in the National Assembly. However, the West Pakistani military junta, led by General Yahya Khan, refused to transfer power to the Awami League, and launched a brutal military crackdown on the East Pakistanis on March 25, 1971, killing thousands of civilians and arresting Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. This sparked the Liberation War, or Muktijuddo, a 9-month-long armed struggle for independence, supported by India and the Soviet Union. The East Pakistani guerrilla forces, known as the Mukti Bahini, fought against the West Pakistani Army, which was aided by the United States and China. The war ended on December 16, 1971, when the West Pakistani Army surrendered to the joint forces of the Mukti Bahini and the Indian Army, and East Pakistan became the independent state of Bangladesh. The war resulted in the death of about 3 million people, and the displacement of about 10 million refugees, mostly to India. The war also witnessed widespread atrocities, such as genocide, rape, and torture, committed by the West Pakistani Army and its collaborators, such as the Razakars, al-Badr, and al-Shams. The war is considered as one of the bloodiest and most tragic events in the history of Bangladesh. The Liberation War, Bangladesh faced many challenges and difficulties, such as poverty, illiteracy, corruption, and political instability. The country also had to deal with the aftermath of the war, such as the rehabilitation of the refugees, the trial of the war criminals, and the recognition of the freedom fighters. The first constitution of Bangladesh was adopted on November 4, 1972, which declared Bangladesh as a secular, democratic, and socialist republic, with Bengali as the state language and 4 fundamental principles: nationalism, democracy, socialism, and secularism. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the founding father of Bangladesh, became the first president of the country, and later the prime minister. He initiated many reforms and programs, such as the nationalization of industries, the establishment of the Jatiya Rakhi Bahini, and the introduction of the Baishakhi calendar. However, he also faced criticism and opposition from various groups, such as the leftists, the Islamists, and the pro-Pakistani elements, who accused him of being authoritarian, corrupt, and incompetent. On August 15, 1975, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and most of his family members were assassinated by a group of army officers, who staged a coup d'état and declared martial law. The coup was followed by a series of counter-coups and political assassinations, which resulted in the death of many prominent leaders, such as Tajuddin Ahmed, Syed Nazrul Islam, Muhammad Mansur Ali, and Zia Rahman. The country also witnessed the rise of military dictatorship, political violence, and religious extremism, which threatened the secular and democratic values of the country. In the 1980s and 1990s, the people of Bangladesh demanded the restoration of democracy and the rule of law, and participated in various movements and protests, such as the 1983 mass uprising, the 1990 mass uprising, and the 1996 caretaker government movement. The country also experienced the emergence of 2 major political parties, the Awami League and the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, BNP, which are led by the daughters of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and Zia Rahman, respectively. The 2 parties have alternated in power since 1991, and have often engaged in bitter rivalry and confrontation, resulting in political deadlock, violence, and corruption. The country also faced many natural and man-made disasters, such as floods, cyclones, earthquakes, and industrial accidents, which caused huge losses of lives and properties. The people of Bangladesh have a bright and hopeful future, as they continue to strive for their dreams and aspirations. They have shown their talent and potential in various fields, such as literature, art, science, sports, and politics. Some of the famous Bangladeshi people who have made their mark in the world are Muhammad Yunus, the Nobel Peace Prize laureate, who founded the Grameen Bank and pioneered the concept of microfinance, which has helped millions of poor people around the world to improve their lives and livelihoods. Jawed Karim, the co-founder of YouTube, the popular video-sharing platform, who uploaded the first video on the site, and who is also a co-founder of PayPal, the online payment system. Shakib Al Hasan, the cricket star, who is widely regarded as one of the best all-rounders in the world, and who has led the Bangladesh national team to many historic victories and achievements, such as reaching the quarter-finals of the 2015 Cricket World Cup and the semi-finals of the 2017 ICC Champions Trophy. Humayun Ahmed, the popular writer, who wrote more than 200 books, mostly novels, and who created many memorable characters and stories that have captivated the hearts and minds of millions of readers, both in Bangladesh and abroad. He also directed several films and television dramas, and won many awards and accolades for his works. Joy Crooks, the singer-songwriter, who was born to a Bangladeshi mother and an Irish father in South London, and who incorporates details about relationships, self-reliance, her culture, and her identity in her music. She has released 3 extended plays and a critically acclaimed debut album, Skin, which reached the top 5 in the UK. She was also nominated for the Rising Star Award at the 2020 Brit Awards. People of Bangladesh have also achieved remarkable success in various sectors, such as education, health, agriculture, industry, and technology. Some of the notable achievements of Bangladesh are achieving near self-sufficiency in food production for its 170 million population, and becoming one of the world's largest exporters of rice, jute, and garments. Reducing its poverty rate, increasing its literacy rate, improving its gender equality, and enhancing its human development. Also, fulfilling all 3 criteria to graduate from a least developed country, LDC, to a developing country, for the second time since 2018. Diversifying its economy, expanding its exports, and increasing its foreign remittances, and becoming one of the fastest growing economies in the world, with an average GDP growth rate of over 6% in the last decade. Contributing to the global peace and security, by participating in the United Nations peacekeeping missions, and hosting the Rohingya refugees from Myanmar, who are the world's largest refugee population. Developing its culture, sports, and media, and producing many notable personalities, such as Rabindranath Tagore, the Nobel Prize-winning poet and writer, Qazi Nazrul Islam, the national poet and the rebel poet of Bengal, and Satyajit Ray, the Oscar-winning filmmaker and artist. The people of Bangladesh have also spread their wings and settled in different parts of the world, forming a large and vibrant diaspora. According to the Ministry of Expatriates Welfare and Overseas Employment, there are 13 million Bangladeshis living abroad, the 4th highest among the top 20 countries of origin for international migrants. The largest Bangladeshi diaspora population is in Saudi Arabia, followed by Pakistan, the United Arab Emirates, Malaysia, and the United Kingdom. The Bangladeshi diaspora has contributed to the development and prosperity of their host countries, as well as to their home country, by sending remittances, investing in businesses, and promoting cultural exchange and cooperation. Bangladeshis have also maintained their identity and heritage, and celebrated their festivals and traditions, such as the Bengali New Year, the Language Movement Day, and the Independence Day. The history of the Bangladeshi people is a history of diversity, resilience, and achievement. The Bengali people have inherited a rich and varied legacy from their ancestors and created their own identity and destiny. They have faced many hardships and obstacles, overcoming them with courage and determination, whilst also making significant contributions to the world, receiving recognition and respect from across the globe. The people of Bangladesh have a bright and hopeful future, as they continue to strive for their dreams and aspirations. I hope you learned something new and interesting about the Bengali people. If you enjoyed, a like and subscribe would be hugely appreciated. Also, leave a comment on some interesting facts we may not have mentioned, or other topics you'd like us to cover. Thanks for watching, take care, and have fun learning.